You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Go Tigers, 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 go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tuff Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's going on, fam? How y'all doing, man? Y'all now rocking with Tuff Tiger Talk on the PRO Media Network. In this episode, man, it's LSU, number 2 ranked LSU, Fighting Tigers, going against the Arkansas Razorbacks, the Dogbacks, as I call them, because ain't no bite to this team. But then again, you can't underestimate anybody in football. We got that preview coming at you for the day. Tigers, get ready for them. And also the recap of Ole Miss. We're going to do an Ole Miss recap, fam. We didn't get it done during this week. Had a lot going on. But I'd like to thank all y'all for joining us on Tuff Tiger Talk on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q. I'd like to bring in my co-host on Tuff Tiger Talk, Mizzy 5. What's going on, 5? How you doing today, brother?
Oh, I'm all right. What's going on? You all right?
Everything doing good, man. So is the Tigers sitting up here at number 2. A lot of crap talking going on, according to a lot of commentators believing that LSU will be their last week at number 1 because of the Razorbacks and, of course, Texas A&M at the end of the year. We close out. Find whatever his name is and whomever, and a bunch of them think that just because Ohio State have matchups against Penn State and, of course, Michigan, that ultimately that will decide them going there. But anyway, we'll get into that today on Tuff Tiger Talk. We'll cover that. Like I said, the preview for Arkansas and Ole Miss recap coming into this one, man. So Tigers on a roll, man. It's doing it big this year. And let's jump right into it there, 5. We got interviews for Coach O, his recap on what happened with Ole Miss. And a lot of people were kind of upset about the win. Even though they beat them 58-37, 5, they were upset about how Ole Miss was still able to run the football, compounding over 600 yards of offense against the Tigers. Most of that on the ground, 614 to be precise, 714 total yards by the Tigers. Absolutely insane in front of a crowd of roughly almost 54,000 people down in Oxford. LSU came away with it. I said number 2. I'm sorry, family. Number 1 ranked Tigers. I don't know what I was thinking. LSU, number 1 ranked. I'm sorry about that. But this matchup, 5, Joey Burrow was on full display. 32 of 42. He had 2 interceptions in this game, uncharacteristic of him this year. 489 yards. He had 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, young Ingram, a.k.a. Fresh Prince of Helaire, 23 carries, 172 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown. And, of course, Jamar Chase was the man. 8 catches, 227 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Boy, the combination of Jefferson and Chase, man, they kind of rivaling what Odell Beckham and Landry did, man. And these young, phenomenal talents here. Just thinking in my head. But, 5, you seen this game. Tigers get it done 58-37 over Ole Miss. What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, the game itself, I like I said, it's always going to be a tough matchup when you're in conference play, especially in SEC West, which obviously is the tougher part of the conference. Is what actually makes the conference, with Alabama and Auburn and LSU and traditionally Ole Miss, and even today's opponent Arkansas is always somewhere in the conversation, if not in the top 25. They're not that far out, and they're always a tough outing. One thing you have to understand about the Ole Miss game, a lot of Ole Miss's offense was generated by their quarterback. We just defensively were not prepared or set up to handle, that. I mean, we run a traditional style offense and defense, almost a pro style. So, just as in the NFL, they have trouble a lot of times with scrambling quarterbacks until they make adjustments. we came out prepared for a scheming for a actual game plan, and when it all kind of broke down and got to it, Ole Miss just like threw their whole game plan out the window, down 31-7 at the half, and their quarterback, I can't think of his name at the moment, he went crazy and he just put the running the ball all over the field, which obviously opened up the passing game. And I'm not going to make an excuse for the defense. Delpit, who's usually money, he got burned a couple of times on a couple of big plays. But, I mean, there were big plays, spotty plays here and there. And I think that we definitely got to make the adjustments. But we did see one of our biggest weaknesses, which is a running quarterback. And let me also touch on this. That is not the average running quarterback. This guy's serious. I think he's I was listening to him talk. He's like a 4.25, 4.3 speed. For talent, he's a freshman. I mean, he's going to be like a real challenge or an obstacle moving forward in this conference. As he gets older and sophomore, junior, and if he stays throughout his senior year, I think that he's going to be a lot tougher to defend and a lot tougher to guard. If he gets his passing game, even remotely close in the neighborhood of a Joe Burrow or a Tua, then I mean, Ole Miss is going to be the team to beat, a really tough team moving forward over the next 2 or 3 seasons.
I mean, that's true. They did kind of vacate their game plan originally. And the young quarterback, I mean, he wasn't much of a passer, more of a runner. They should convert him, in my opinion, to a wide receiver. Because running back or something, because his speed was definitely on display. But nonetheless, LSU were able to take it to them, man, 58-37, and they stayed up the majority of this game. Of course, they had a few times when the team kind of got a little close, but a lot of this was pretty much the fact that they didn't adjust, and you can see Dave Aranda was peeved about it as well. You can see several LSU players, including Phillips and others, that were totally just upset by the fact that this team was able to do what they was doing, even though there were no match in terms of any. They didn't have any. I guess they didn't scare them, and we know LSU was going to maintain that lead. But looking at some of the end of the team statistics before we bounce back to the individual statistics, 35 first down to 26 against Ole Miss, 7 of 12 on third down. LSU was converting versus 2 of 11 by the Rebels. 1 of 1 on fourth down for the Tigers versus 1 of 4 by Ole Miss. 714 total yards offense. LSU 614 for Ole Miss. Passing 489 for LSU. 212 for Ole Miss. And the bulk of it on the ground, 225 by LSU, 400 yards of rush offense by the Rebels, averaging on 44 attempts, 9.1 average, 4 penalties by LSU for 35 yards, 5 by Ole Miss for 50 yards. So time of possession, LSU 32-51 versus 27-09 Ole Miss. So despite the fact that LSU did go in there and they maintained the lead, everybody was kind of concerned about the fact that they did give up all of that rush yards. But let's listen to what Coach O had to say after the Tigers went over Ole Miss. This is Coach O. Ryan.
We couldn't stop him, but we won the football game. We came here to win the football game. We did. We won by 21 points. It was pretty dull. But you know what? After a big win last week, I'm proud of our football team, the way they prepared. We're going to get better. And we're looking forward to playing Arkansas next week. We're leaving here 10-0. We're very proud of that. Any questions?
What was Ole Miss able to do so effectively in the second half with that running game?
Well, obviously, they were running the counter, the zone read and stuff like that. And well, man short sometimes, some gap, we missed some tackles. They were running the sweeps to the outside. They faked the reverse one time. We've been on the reverse. He ran up to the right side. Quarterback runs. We're going to stop the quarterback runs.
What made it difficult to adjust to that when they were having so much success with it?
Yeah, I think they had answers. There was multiple facets of their runs. They could read some stuff that went in. They made the right reads. I think in the second half we missed some tackles. One time I wanted to run a stunt. I ran a stunt. We crashed him on chest on. He kept it. The defensive end couldn't tackle. Touchdown. He made a lot of good plays on his own. They had a good scheme. Things we have to work on to get better.
Coach, does it say something about the expectations of this team that some of the players look like y'all lost after the game?
Yeah.
I mean, you win by 21,
Yeah.
but there's an expectation so high now that even when you struggle, you're not.
That's what I have to remind them of. Let's enjoy the win. Let's don't get greedy. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep our feet on the ground. Our object was to win the game, and we won it by 21 points. So But obviously, when you don't play well on defense at LSU, nobody's feeling good. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, can you talk about Joe's ability to adjust in the pocket and make the throws he did?
Yeah, I thought it was, especially the first half. I thought he was on fire the first half. He made a lot of plays, extended the plays with his feet. He's a good athlete. We probably could run Joe to zone read a little bit more, we just don't want to do it.
Do you look at any of the defensive issues today as a sign of anything greater or more just specific to today, you think?
I just need to look at it. Now, obviously, 400 yards rushing, I don't know if I would have been a part of the team that gave up 400 yards rushing. So, you don't want that from the team. So we need to look at it. Need to look at it on film, see where we went wrong, schematically, personnel-wise, technique, whatever it may be. We're gonna fix it. The bottom line is, when you win games, you kind of pick things apart and stuff like that. The object is to win the game.
And being this close to clinching the West for y'all and getting to the title, is this a good reminder to kind of reset how y'all view the rest of the season?
Yeah, we don't talk about clinching, nothing and stuff like that. There's going to be on the hunt for some winning them one game at a time, improving. Tell the truth Monday. We're going to look at what we did well, what we didn't do well, and fix it.
Joe's been almost perfect this year. Was that just a couple unliked mistakes by him in the second?
Yeah, I think we'll press him a little bit. Very unlike him. We'll press him those 2 interceptions in the second half.
Yeah, it hadn't been on both sides of this rivalry. You expected this type of game, didn't you? Like, they weren't going to give up.
No, we knew that. We expected a fight. In fact, the first half was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought we kind of controlled them in the first half, but obviously in the second half they started making some plays. And we had to fight, and then the turnovers hurt us. So it was a 60-minute battle. Won by 21 points.
Obviously, Jamar breaks the school record for touchdowns in the season. What's it been like watching him develop over his career?
I love the recruiting battle. He was committed to Florida. I love his parents. He got a great family right there from Roma High School. To see him grow, he was a phenomenal receiver when he came here. But to see the job that Joe Birdie McIntosh has done with him and the connection that him and Joe have, he's a very strong receiver. Yards after the catch, he looks like he catches every ball. I'm proud of him.
Hey, you guys.
That's Coach O, man. As you can hear the LSU band drowning them out. Boy, they're pretty loud. But anyway, getting back to the rest of the individual statistics, what Coach O was saying about some of the things that LSU did that they didn't adjust to with Ole Miss. But ultimately, it's just a learning experience. All that matters is in the end that LSU, they got the win. That's all that matters is they got the win against Ole Miss in their building, went down there and beat them. Joe Burrow, like I said, he finished 32 of 42 for 489, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, 94.7 on the QB rating. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 23 carries, 172 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 7.5 on the carry. Jamar Chase had 8 catches, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. 28.4 average per catch. Justin Jefferson not far behind, 9 catches, 112 yards, 12.4 on the average. He had 2 touchdowns in this game. Of course, Thaddeus Moss had 5 catches for 63 yards. And then Terrace Marshall got involved. He had 4 catches for 32. So did Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well, 4 catches for 22 yards. Racing McMath had 1 for 32. And Tyron Davis-Price had 1 as well. Looking at the defensive side for LSU against the Ole Miss game, top man was Jacob Phillips. Played really well. He had 11 tackles in the game. Behind him was Jacoby Stevens, had 9, Patrick Queen, and then followed by 5 other LSU Tigers defenders who were tied with 5 in the matchup. Now, you heard what Coach O said, man. Let's kind of peruse ahead into the next upcoming matchup as LSU gets ready for Arkansas. Now, this is another matchup. We can't have a letdown. Now, I'm going to give you a little injury report news here about Austin. Deculus and Grant Delpit, which is big, man, because Grant Delpit likely will not play
that's
against.
The man.
And that's sad to say, but hopefully he will be returning. As the Tigers get ready toward the kind of season rounded down. Hope he just need a little rest and he'll be back when it counts. Freshman safety Morris Hampton will look to get his start for the first time. And LSU will use the same offensive line they did last weekend against Ole Miss with senior Badaro Traore at the right tackle. It looks like Douglas and Grant Delpit will be out against this one, Coach Ogeron said. Delpit, he paid for an ankle injury the last couple of games, and I think they probably need to get him some rest on that. Now, Hampton is a former 4-star recruit that's played in 8 games, mostly on special teams. Began the season buried on LSU's depth chart, but injuries have left LSU thin at the safety position. He'll get an opportunity to start against the Tigers. Interested to see what he can do. And then Douglas had has practiced this week, but he manages his injury. He will sit out for the second straight game without Dukelas. Left tackle Shadiq Charles, again, this is getting an opportunity to play. And Adrian McGee at left tackle, sophomore Ed Ingram at left guard. So it kind of reshuffled the offensive line for the Tigers to deal with that loss. So Grant Delpit and Austin Dukelas is both out for this one, man. So, Five, you seen this, man. You've been looking at old Arkansas. Arkansas, a lot of people looking at them and saying, wow, they're pretty terrible this year. But this kind of matchups, man, you got to be woefully on point or aware about, man. And what is your taking on Arkansas, the matchup against Arkansas in Death Valley as they come into this one?
Here's the deal. I want to take you back in time. If you can hop in the DeLorean with me, right?
Okay.
And I want to take you back to the year 2008, I believe it was, 2008.
Okay.
LSU versus, was it 2007, 2008 year. LSU versus Arkansas in the triple overtime Darren McFadden show.
Oh, yeah.
All right? That's all I could think about. Same scenario. LSU's got an awesome team. They got national title contentions written all over them. The game was at home, and far close enough at home in the Superdome. Same setup, right? We got away that year. We snuck out that year. Even after losing to Arkansas, they still blessed us with, playing and competing for the national championship. But if I could take you back to that game,
50-48, Arkansas. Yep.
That's all I could think about. The triple overtime slaughter.
Yep, McFadden.
Right.
Yep.
That's when I believe Matt Mark was at the helm for the Tigers.
Matt Flynn.
Playing with broken ribs. It was just an unbelievable, one of the best games I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever saw my mom cry over a football game.
Okay. Them diehard fans, yeah.
That's diehard fans right there. That's where I get it from, I guess. But listen, I was 11 years ago. So that's all I could think about when I think about this game. And, LSU had the same scenario. If we don't watch it, this team could actually come into Death Valley and beat us, or at least weaken us for our next top 25 opponent, our fifth of the year, in the Texas A&M Aggies next week. Either way, it's not a good scenario. I think that we got to come out. We got to be very assertive. I think that we need the same offensive output that we had against Ole Miss last week. But defensively, we have to step up and definitively beat this team. And if LSU has any remote shot of staying number one, not saying we won't go to the playoffs, but staying number one overall, we got to cover that 43-point spread today. No doubt. There's no excuses. I mean, you got to leave all out on the field. Every single game you play, you got 3 games left that's going to make your season, right? Well, really 4. Well, 3 games, sorry. 4, really. You got this game, Texas A&M, the SEC championship, which will probably be
Georgia
against Georgia. That'll be our 5th top 10 opponent this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then naturally, whoever we're matched up against in the college playoffs. So the next 4 games are absolutely critical for LSU to survive. And obviously we want that number 1 seed. Why? Because we're going to be paired with the number 4 seed. Not saying that the number 4 seed won't be a formidable opponent, but obviously you would rather the number 4 seed than, the number 3 seed. Or, I just common sense. So, if I'm LSU, I'm thinking, okay, I gotta obliterate this team. I understand a lot of the time we have discussions about coaches running up the score and about keeping everything. These are still kids. They're really big kids, but we still want to keep some kind of a sportsman-like environment with this. But this can't be that. Not this week.
Right.
We gotta hang 60, 70 on them. Whatever we need to do, we've gotta shake back. And for whatever reason, Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State, even USC in this heyday, none of these Clemson, none of these people have Florida State these issues that we have got to prove ourselves twice and 3 times as hard to the committee. I don't understand why we have to always do that, but it is what it is. We control our own destiny. We can't blame anybody for it. Yes, the deck is stacked against us because we've always got, especially now that we've beaten Alabama, because I think that a lot of people are upset about that. Like, they're mad because Alabama season has taken, a somewhat sharp right turn. It's not our fault, right? We can only play the opponents that we're given. And, yes, I do understand Ohio State's still going to be matched up with Penn State and Michigan. I get that totally, 100%. However, that pales in comparison to the fact that we had 4 top 10 teams. SEC championship will be our 15th. I can't think of a team in the last 15, maybe 20 years, going back 2 decades. I can't think of a team since the BCS era that has beaten 5 top 10 teams, 6 top 25 teams overall in one season while going undefeated. And we're still being disrespected. It's crazy to me.
It's insane, man. I said the same thing. I was debating with a guy the other day about why and people really feel like LSU shouldn't be up there. They own this Ohio State and anybody but LSU push. If it's Alabama, they fine with it. If it's Clemson, they even fine with it. If it's anybody else but LSU, they fine with it. I've heard national commentators, and you could take they were with a grain of salt, of course, but they were recommending saying that Clemson or Ohio State could beat LSU right now. I mean, that was their verbiage. So at the end of the day, I disagree with that. I'm not just because I'm an LSU guy. I think the bottom line, if you look at it, is the fact that the Tigers have shown the entire SEC as well as the country is that LSU is for real. Nobody have toppled Alabama in some time in that capacity except for Clemson. We need to be respected on that. LSU went in one of the roughest environments in the country and in front of the president and everybody else, a jam-packed stadium, everything was going on, and they took it to Alabama and they took the game from up under them. They basically took their season away from them. And that was something most people was not expecting LSU to do. They were expecting them to go in there and have that deer in the head like look that Burrow had last year. No, sir. This time around, LSU saying this is our, and they took it from them. Now, you're right on the Arkansas matchup. I don't know if they got a Darren McFadden on the other side that can run.
They don't. But
I remember that. I know I feel you on that. And it's the last 2 games, just to kind of paraphrase, agree on what you're saying. And who that to you, Till? Go Tigers to my dog, Till. Who that to you? I see you, fam. Thank you for joining us. But that's something that I'm looking at as well. And I'm saying to myself, both these games, if you look at it, 5, is the propensity for that because you brought back the 2007 matchup against Arkansas, and once it went to 3 overtime and 50-48 overtime win over LSU. McFadden led the way, 32 carries, over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and even Peyton Hillis was in that game. He caught 5 catches for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns in that matchup. And it wasn't really about their quarterback play, most so of the running game, but Matt Flynn, he was awesome in that game, 22 of 47, 209, 3 touchdowns. Jacob Hester was
with broken ribs.
With broken ribs through 3 touchdowns. And Jacob Hester played. He had 28 carries for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that game, the Arkansas 3 overtime game at the end of the year, and, of course, last year's matchup against Texas A&M, 4 overtimes. Cheating all over the place, and that ultimately all over the place. And that is cause for concern. And we got to sound the funny alarm because some shit about to go on in terms of, if they try to stop us. So we have to be mindful of that here at Tuff Tiger Talk, the family putting it out there first. But anyway, let's get to some of the statistics dealing with the Arkansas. And they sit up here 2-8 and 0-6 in conference, haven't won a conference play. They're totally awful, but that don't mean that they can't step up and play LSU in Death Valley. Okay, Nick Starkel is their quarterback, 93 of 169 for 1,118 yards. He has 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. You know what that means anytime you have a quarterback with more interceptions than touchdowns. That usually means feast for an opportunistic defense like LSU. Their top running back is Raheem Boyd. He has over 1,000 yards so far in the season, over 150 carries, has 8 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Watch out for him. And their top receiver is Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks, 25 catches for 389. He's their top threat. Looking at LSU, Joey Burrow currently stands 268 out of 341, over 3,600 yards, throwing 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is maybe less than 50, little short of 50 yards shy of 1,000-yard season off 158 carries for 12 touchdowns. And Jamar Chase is the man. 57 catches, 1,116 yards, 13 touchdowns, and still 3 games left in the 2 games left in the regular season, getting ultimately in the playoffs. Of course, in college, they add all that together. They don't break it up. They keep it all together. Points per game coming into this, LSU's 48.7.8. Might as well say 48 points per game against the Arkansas Razorbacks, 22.3. Points allowed per game. The defense for Arkansas allows 36 points a game. It's no wonder why they stuck. They actually stink. They're 2-0 and 0-6. You're averaging 22, but giving up 36 is a recipe for disaster. LSU's only giving up 23.8, just shy of 24 points per game. Total offensive yards, 556 a game for LSU, tops in the nation, versus 353.5 by Arkansas. 390 through the air by Joey B. 166 on the ground by the running game for LSU. 200 yards, almost 205 yards a game for Arkansas through that. And they do rush the ball at 149 yards a game. So as you can tell, we got to watch out for that young running back and stop him.
Absolutely.
So Starkel will be the guy. That the running back is the key to this whole matrix here. Now, looking at it from a defensive standpoint, LSU only giving up 368 yards a game total. That's 237 through the air and 131 on the ground. That's way too much for a top-notch unit like ours. Now, Arkansas, on the other hand, giving up 447 yards a game, 221 through the air and 225 on the ground. So they're equally awful in terms of what they're doing. So this basically, we playing a running back and a defense that you could call basically a sieve. They can't hold anything. So when you're looking at this in 5, I hear you what you were saying pretty much about your thought process in dealing with Arkansas, because yes, we got to avoid against the letdowns. And just because we were able to knock off some of these other teams like we did, it will be all for naught if you stumble and trip and fall against the Arkansas Razorbacks. So man, oh man.
One thing I definitely say, LSU, I hate to say, this, because I mean, again, these are a bunch of kids, and you would hate for them to have to lose, but I mean, Coach Cho has gotta kind of like let these guys know and pull them to the side and say, hey, listen, you guys have had an awesome season. Everything has been wonderful with you guys, but this is the situation you got to watch out for, gentlemen. If you guys lose any games, the committee is going to rake you over the coals, and chances are everything that you've done this season will be for absolutely naught. And chances are you will be voted out, and you might not have an opportunity to play for a national championship. And that's disappointing to say. I wouldn't want to have that conversation again with a bunch of kids. And let them know, and try to put that extra added pressure on them, especially going forward for the next 4 games that are going to be 3 of those 4, Texas A&M, the SC Championship, and whomever they will play in the playoff are going to be they're going to be crucial, because that's top-notch talent, top 25 team in Texas A&M, top 10 team, really a top 5 team in Georgia, and also a top 4 team in whoever they'll face in the college playoff. So, and then obviously a top 2 team if they make it all the way to the national championship. So, Coach Burrow's gotta kind of, let these guys know. Maybe he can tell them directly. Maybe he can use the leadership skills of Joey Burrow to kind of get in his ear and let them, because maybe he'll be more relatable to the rest of the team, and let them know, hey man, look, if we lose, all of the stats we put up, the 700-yard games, the 40 touchdowns, the 3,500 yards, none of that's going to matter. They're going to rake us over the coals, and they're going to treat us like we don't belong here. We can't make a mistake, and they'll toss us to the side. They've got to understand that, and they've got to kind of wrap their minds around that. However challenging that may be, they're going to have to figure that out, and they're going to have to step it up.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you. He has to press that upon their mind. And something tell me Coach O's on a mission. Been telling them that we can't get to the point where we beat Alabama and say that, okay, that was our championship and just fall out the floor for everything else. No, Alabama is not the championship. That was the hurdle to the championship. You had to get through Alabama because they're on the same side to get there. Now you have a equally more difficult foe once you get through these two games and get into the SEC championship against what is definitely going to be Georgia. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be out there in Georgia. It's basically a home game, and we got to go out there and take care of business in the SEC championship, and then look at the college playoffs, whatever games we end up there as well, the two games that we got to play there. So, but here's Coach O. Here's Coach O's preview of LSU and Arkansas. Here we go.
Russell be late. We just finished, right? Good. Coach, I really felt like we had our best Thursday practice today. Tremendous job of the coaches. I thought there was some great situations today. Short yardage, goal line, red zone, winning edge. Things last plays at the end of the game. Defense against last plays at the end of the game. How to win the ball game with 1 second left. I thought it was tremendous planning by our coaches and the staff. Then our players came out and had a great practice. I thought the energy level was very high. The execution level was very high. So very pleased with today's practice. It looks like Austin Deckles and Grant Delpit will be out for the game. As of right now, they're not planning on playing. Other than that, we should be fine.
Any indication of who will play for Delpit if he is in fact out?
Yeah, I think Mo Hampton's going to start. We'll let Mo Hampton start, and he's been doing very well. Coach Bush is very pleased with his progress, so we're going to let him go.
He's somebody who kind of hasn't really seen the field there at safety much, so what has the kind of season been like for him?
Well, he's developed, obviously. He came in, and there wasn't a lot of room back there, but with the injuries, he's moved up on the charts. He's able to do the things that we expect him to do in safety. Very good athlete. We knew he was going to be a great player. I think it was a matter of his time and learning the system.
Big positive, I guess, for you guys to still be able to redshirt him and play him and things like that.
Sure as of now, yes, should be.
How will your tackles look like without that?
We're going to play with Fedor. We're going to play with Adrian. Same thing we did last week. It'll be the same lineup right now as last week.
And from seeing that, I mean, you talked about it a little bit this week. Just what did you learn about the offensive line and the depth-wise that they can play?
Next man up, put 11 men on the field, fight like Tigers. I thought Fedor and Adrian played well. It builds depth on the offensive line. As you know, this time of year, you're going to have injuries. I thought James Craig has done a tremendous job of coaching offense.
That's Coach O. Some of his thoughts, of course, in naming some of the things that we already covered in the injury report about the safety, about the fact that Grant Delpit and Douglas also wouldn't be available in the reshuffling of the offensive line. And it's just one of the things. Also, Michael Divinity Jr., a lot of talk about Michael Divinity Jr.'s playing with was practicing with LSU. He's not eligible to play in this game, just for those who wanted to know about Michael Divinity Jr. So that's some information I just want to spread on with the family. So you're absolutely right on this one, Five. We're looking at it, man. It's a plus 42 on the spread, man. Seriously, that's a lot of points, and I know LSU basically averaging almost 48 points a game during this season, and they most certainly could put it up on Arkansas, because Arkansas, according to statistics, is giving up 36.2 a game, so that's just a little bit shy of what that is. But that's a lot to cover in Death Valley tonight. It's a nighttime game, so we expect an explosion of points and an ass whopping out of this world on Arkansas Razorback, who are 2-8 coming into this one. I think they're probably the worst opponent in terms of standing that we had an opportunity to play against this year. So, but they're still a SEC foe. They've been known as surprise in the past. Give me some backdrop on this. What do you think the score is going to be like? And I know my opinion is I think it'll be an ass whopping. I think they're going to stump the Lily you-know-what out of them at the end of the day. But I don't know if they're going to cover a 42-point spread. That's kind of way up there.
I think we'll definitely cover the spread. I was listening to you. I got a hater in my ear right now. Mm-hmm. There's this Alabama guy. I'm trying to run him off right now. He's trying to contaminate me. But I think the score, if LSU treats this as they need to treat it, I think we'll hang at least 55. What's the spread? The 43 is the spread, Mr. Hater. 43 Arkansas in Death Valley.
In Death Valley?
Yes.
I'm going to take back my bet. You ain't going to cover that spread.
43 points.
You ain't going to cover that spread.
Well, I got two people and a whole radio, I got the whole nation ready to bet against you right now. So how many bets you going to lay? You just lay the bet that we got. I think the score is going to be 55-12. Okay. By the way, Q, just to let you know, 55-12.
All right, 55-12, okay.
55-12. So I think it's going to be right at that 43.
That's they surrender 37 points a game, so I mean it ain't like it's a stretch to say that they can't give up that little handful of points. You know what I'm saying? They've been terrible all season long, man. You know. So,
yeah. So I think we're gonna have to. I think it's gonna be field goal nation for Arkansas. So 9, 12, 15. Whatever denomination that I don't think they're gonna get. I think they might get there. They might score one touchdown. Other than that, outside of that, I think it's gonna be field goal and punt nation. So the kickers and punters gonna have a really big game. So look for them. They probably had the highest stats on the whole team.
I can get with you on that because I think more than likely, you're looking at Arkansas. They can't move the ball. The quarterback is not very good. The running back is obviously the strength of the team, and the LSU just has to do a job of shutting him down and making him one-dimensional. And I don't think LSU could. I mean, not underestimating Arkansas, but I've seen a few games from Arkansas this year, and I was not impressed with nothing like that. Till says 55-12. He said he liked that prediction. So I mean, I will have to ride. I think it's going to be an ass whomping. That's what I think it is. It's going to be one of those games where they just blow this team out. I mean, everything's setting up. I mean, they're on the riding high. They're beating everybody. They got them in Death Valley late. It ain't one of those early games. It's one of the late games where a lot of people like a 6 o'clock game. And I think it'll be.
That's our strength.
Yes.
That's our strength.
I think this will be a good one, man. So the Tigers doing a fantastic job, man. And like we said, we cannot have a letdown. No letdowns. We can't beat Alabama this year and then get into games lose Arkansas or lose to remember those games we had last year when people don't realize how close LSU was to a national championship last year. They really don't. If LSU would have handled business against Florida in the swamp last year and the final game of the year against Texas A&M, it would have been very difficult for the committee to deny them opportunity to play in the college football championship. The Texas A&M game, they still had an opportunity, even though they lost to Florida, but they still had an opportunity to win had they beat Texas A&M. They cheated the living hell out of LSU in that game. It was absolutely insane. I just was furious with that whole setup. This time around, we're on point. We got our antennas up, and we're looking for shifting that's going on like that, like they be doing against the Saints. I want to make sure that people understand that we got to pay attention to this one here. LSU can't let the referees have any say in this game. We got to take care of business and hammer the hell out of Arkansas. And then the ultimate game, the last game of the season, is a major revenge game against Texas A&M that we have to take care of business against, man. We must get that. We got to get some revenge on Texas A&M. We customarily, not traditionally, it seems like we're playing Texas A&M at the end of the season every year, and they give us a tough, difficult matchup every year. We have both of these games here in Death Valley. We got to take care of business. What you think about that, Five?
I mean, there's no doubt about it. We have to handle business. We have to take care of it. I mean, look. We also got to pay attention to what's going on right under our nose, man, because Tua's out. It's going to be interesting to see what Alabama does because, hopefully Auburn can handle because what did they play, like Western Kentucky or St. Aug or somebody today or whatever?
Fauché, somebody. I mean, it's something.
So today is a no-brainer, but moving forward next week, man, it would be awesome if Auburn could go in and just beat Alabama. And last game of the season, right after Thanksgiving, right after the Saints whip up on the Falcons, it'd be awesome if Auburn could go ahead and handle business and beat the squeeze off Alabama and just get them out of here. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not trying to see them in the playoff if I can prevent it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be in a weird situation. I'm not saying that's not far from happening because you never know with these matchups that's coming up. You never know. A lot of people predicting. Lee Carso this morning predicted Penn State to beat Ohio State. So a lot of people, are looking at it saying, damn, there could be some fallout here between the two. Even though Ohio State right now, they're leading Penn State 7-0. But, it's just anything could happen if you take a look at, the top. You never know how these guys going to finish out. You know who
Yep.
you never know who gonna bring their game or who gonna do what. But like I said, right now Ohio State is winning that game. They're up 7-0 on Penn State. Penn State been getting there every year and falling out. It's just being careful and mindful of that, man. Very mindful.
I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of nothing.
Alabama is on top of Western Carolina right now, 17-0. By the way, just to let you know.
Obviously, I mean who is like there's Carver or like what's going on with that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not scared of nothing out of the Big Ten. So I mean, I hate to say this, and please, I know we're recording, and I know this is live, but I'm scared of Alabama. I don't want to see them again. If I could prevent seeing Alabama at all costs, with a chip on their shoulder, and their quarterback is out, I do not want to see them in the playoffs. So definitely, we need Auburn to step up, hand them their second loss, put them all the way out of contention, and leave us with Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, the state penitentiary, the state of the union. I don't care who it is.
That's right. We're going to take care of business. That's going to do it for Tuff Tiger Talk. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Subscribe to Tuff Tiger Talk. We all things LSU football. I'm Big Q. Mizzy 5 is here as well. So we do this every Saturday at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Sometimes we shift it, but every Saturday morning we Tuff Tiger Talk. Thank y'all for joining us. Peace.
HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home delivered, restaurant quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50 plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commit. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specializing affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from HomeBistro.com? Restaurant quality made with natural ingredients delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with HomeBistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with HomeBistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.